They're working with low-income clients, so it's a public interest organization, and they're trying to meet the needs of people who are at a certain poverty percentile or meet that poverty percentile and who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford legal support and legal advocacy. And basically, we're given an assignment and told a set of facts, and then we have to just start doing research on it and trying to find out the relevant law and get back to the attorney on it. Sometimes that means writing a memo, and sometimes it means just making a phone call. So basically a lot of research. Then I also have sat in on conference calls and done some client intake interviews, and I did go to a hearing and was part of also some like client contact, preparing a client for trial, and did a tour of Dignity Village, and I've also gone to 2 different coalition meetings in Salem to work on the upcoming legislative session, to work with them on a landlord-tenant coalition group to try to balance both tenants' interests and empowering them, and also try to do what's best for landlords. So some of the attorneys here know people who live in Dignity Village or who are part of Dignity Village, and so they basically were like, hey, let's do a tour of Dignity Village because it's just really good exposure, and it could be people who later could be clients of ours, or just if some issue comes up, it's important for them to have legal advocacy. And so it was basically just an opportunity to go and see it. And the woman who gave us the tour was very cool, and it was interesting to hear from her. And I guess she grew up in the courthouse. Her grandfather was a judge, which was very interesting. So when the attorney here had mentioned, hey, we might go on a tour of Dignity Village, I was so excited about going because I had always wanted to know more about it. But I had done a lot of outreach programs with the homeless, like when I was in undergrad. So I used to do potluck in the park, which is right in O'Brien Square downtown. So I've been interested in that kind of outreach, and just I love doing community service work for years, but I hadn't specifically toured Dignity Village or like worked with people there. But I had heard of it and knew of it and was really interested to learn more. I like that the OLC did a lot of stuff with housing law and domestic violence, and I'm kind of interested in how those two meet, which I'm not able to specifically work on the ways in which housing law and domestic violence are linked and things that are important in that realm very specifically, but I feel like just even the projects that I've done have taught me a lot, and I'm learning a lot. I actually always say, though, that I do feel a sense of responsibility, and I think it is really important, but I also get so much out of it, to be honest with you. It might sound like, oh, sure you do, and it's like, no, really, and I am convinced that you always get more than you give. And so, I mean, selfishly, I feel like I learned so much, and that woman, Gay, who gave us the tour that day, she totally gave to me more than I gave to her by showing up and being like, let's learn about your village, you know. She had much more to teach me than I had to like teach her, but at some point later on, I'm sure I could help her in ways that she can't help herself, and that's what's so empowering and exciting about knowing the law and practicing it and becoming a lawyer. But so it is true, and I do feel a sense of responsibility, and I love being out in the community and feeling a part of my community in every way that I can.